When my father was detained, we had a hard time without him. He's seeking asylum and he's afraid of not returning home. I don't want to think about that.
The United States is a nation of immigrants. 99% of U.S. citizens can trace their ancestry to another country. Yet every day in the United States, men and women with and without papers are grabbed from their homes, their jobs, their schools. We now have a congressionally mandated quota that requires that we hold at least 34,000 men and women in immigration detention each day. This quota is unprecedented in U.S. history, and no other law enforcement agency has a quota for the number of people that they must keep in jail.
Who's paying for them to be in jail? Well, it's our tax money going to fund the detention, the public jails and the private contractors, the private prisons. Yeah, it's our tax money.
I came to this country when I was 5 years old. About 2 months ago, immigration showed up at my house. They were posing as police officers and they were supposedly looking for somebody else, and they asked for my ID, and when I showed them my ID, that's when they detained me.
I knew I was undocumented, I knew my family was undocumented, but it's difficult to see yourself being in that position where you're being separated. We're always at risk of being deported, even though we've been here for decades.
Civic, in partnership with the Detainees Friends Project at the Pasadena, California Neighborhood Unitarian Universalist Church, has created direct funds. Funds collected will be distributed to men and women in immigration detention right now, those recently released from detention, and their families.
Mi familia pasó por situaciones pues muy difícil económicamente, que no tenían a veces para comer, para vestirse, para calzarse zapatos.
What I've come to realize is that our government and a lot of the private contractors are really robbing these immigrants and their families because they charge so much money for phone calls, for example, and for the commissary. But the phone calls, it can cost up to $5 a minute. It's a real hard time if their father or mother is in detention to pay the bills, to put food on their table, and this, you can help. This is a way that Direct Fund can actually help families of the people, and to transportation to get them to visit their family.
With your help, the Direct Fund can make a real difference in the lives of these families, and it can send a clear message that we, to quote Martin Luther King Jr., are not silent about things that matter.